For years now, Fox Carolina has been investigating the push to expand the state's homicide by child abuse law. As you just heard, that's the charge that Easley mother now faces. And police say her child, not even a day old. But solicitors want to make sure older kids and teens get the same protection.
Fox Carolina's Grace Runkle has been following this story for 2 years now. And Grace, you're joining us with the progress the two bills are making right now in the State House.
Well, in South Carolina, if someone's abuse or neglect of a child leads to death, then they can be charged with homicide by child abuse, but only if the child is younger than 11. If the child is older, then the person is charged with murder, something much harder to prove because the state has to show there was an intent to kill, and that's not always the case with abuse or neglect. So right now, there are two bills working their way through the House and the Senate that would range that age to anyone under 18.
We need it because we're seeing more and more of these cases throughout the whole state.
That's what 7th Circuit Solicitor Barry Barnett told the House subcommittee in January. After a brief debate, the subcommittee tabled discussion.
I do want this one on the next agenda.
But that next agenda came and went without the homicide by child abuse bill. We called the House Judiciary Committee. They told us the bill isn't on the calendar.
And does that worry you?
It does. The longer it goes, it's harder to get it to cross over where it goes to the Senate.
Barnett has been pushing for the law to expand for several years. He says the state is seeing more fatal cases of abuse and neglect and more victims older than the age of 11. Many times, he says, they are children with special needs.
They're the most fragile, innocent victims that we deal with. And I've been doing these type cases for almost over 20 years. And I've had different cases that I've dealt with, and they're always very emotional. They're just put in circumstances they can't help, and they're entrusted with the people that take care of them, and they don't, obviously, horrible things happen in these people's care.
The good news for Barnett, the Senate is set to take up their own version of the bill in one of its subcommittees on Thursday. Barnett's hopeful a bill will pass both sides of the State House because last year, only the Senate gave the bill the green light.
I'm hoping that the House committee will take the bill back up, so we can keep pushing for this and hopefully bring justice to these children sooner than later.
We reached out to the chair of the House's subcommittee. He says he's working on an amendment to the bill that addresses some of the things brought up during that first hearing. He also says he anticipates the bill will be back on a subcommittee agenda before the end of the legislative session. The Senate subcommittee will take up the bill Thursday morning and will bring you the details of their debate. Grace Runkle, Fox Carolina News.